baby. Hello, nasty. Hello there. Hello. I say hello. Hello, friend. Well, hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends. Hello, operator. The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 370 of the Brink of Sanity. Yes, we are still doing this.
Because, like the Delta variant, we can't be killed off.
That's right. So, yes, welcome back. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Jay?
Pretty good, actually. Isn't that weird? After like 7 years of I'm not doing good.
7 years. Try 42 years. But yes. Jay has been miserable for so goddamn long. The fact, before the show, I asked Jay how was work today. He said, it was fine. Jay saying it was fine is almost like an orgasm level, like of excitement of how good it must be for him to say it's fine.
Yeah,
because
having a normal situation is like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, he's like, I have nice coworkers. It seems like a good job, which is the last 7 years has been every day fucking sucks. I hate my well, you didn't hate your coworkers, but you hated everything else with the job. So
yeah.
Jay, you got an iPhone? I assume you have an iPhone, right?
I do. I have an iPhone 6. I think 13 is coming out. This is the next one.
Holy shit. I had the 6. I switched last September. So this past September I switched. Mm-hmm. And you know what my thought is, like 6, 7 months or 8 months in, whatever, is why the fuck did I hold to the 6 so long? I don't know how the 6 is for you. Is the 6 functional? How functional is it?
I mean, if I play like a game on my phone, my entire battery will go from 100 to 5% in like 30 minutes.
Do you have it set on limited drain, like you put it on the yellow, so like low battery drain?
I don't. I don't think it matters at this point. I could sit it down and not touch it, and it'll go down 30% an hour.
Actually,
so
you can check. Why don't you check right now to see what your battery is? You go to settings and click on battery, and then click on battery health. It'll still tell you what your battery health is at.
I think it's under.
I have something else I want you to do with the phone also after this, but so keep the phone there.
I think battery's under something else.
No, under settings there should be battery.
Settings, battery.
Scroll down, settings. You know the gray thing. You go to settings.
I'm in settings. I don't see battery.
You see general and control center.
There's general and control center.
Scroll down. You don't see the words battery?
I don't.
You're fun. It's definitely whatever. I can't see your screen. Can you actually? I can show it. Lift it up. Show me your screen.
Oh, there's battery.
Okay.
So low power mode's not on.
Yeah. Click on battery though.
Battery health.
Yeah. So see what it says.
82%.
Okay, that means your maximum charge 82%. I think mine was 85% before I gave up on the 6. If you keep it on low battery mode the whole day, which I used to have to do that, it lasts a little better. It's not as annoying.
I mean, yeah, now it goes down about 30% an hour if I just don't touch it. So it's
yeah, you have to pretty much leave it on low battery all day. I found some of the apps were just insanely slow. Like, are your apps really slow?
Some are, or the ones that work are the ones that'll just make my battery just go.
I found like when I switched phones, it was like, oh, I typed in a website and went right to that website. This is magic. The other thing that would drive me crazy is, and you don't drive a lot. I use Waze, and Waze just would not work. So I'd be going somewhere, and then Waze would just stop working, and I'd be like, great, I don't know how to get there. I'm fucked. Mm-hmm. So that was always. I even had one point where like the phone I had left. I was at my sister-in-law's house. And they're like, Mark, can you go pick up the food? The Waze was working. Go pick up the food. Then my phone just shut off and would refuse to go back on. And I was like, I don't know how to get back to her house. I drove around for like a half hour until I figured out how to get back to her house.
We've been spoiled.
Yeah. So I have nothing way to do besides get a new phone. By the way, it really is like I switched and I was like, I'm never going 5 years again without switching. Like every 2 years, I think I'm just gonna. I fucking use the phone for everything. You use the phone for everything, right, Jay?
Yeah, pretty much. So my girlfriend's going to get the new one, and she has a 10. So I'll go from the 6 to the 10.
Yeah, okay. That's a big upgrade. You know, I got the not to go too much into the phones, but I got the SE 2000. I got that last year. It was like little like four something. It's basically the same technology as the 12, but in a smaller, like it looks like the 6. Functions really well. If you like the 6, like the size and everything, it's not that expensive.
Okay.
I mean, it's not free, obviously, but anyway, I want you to do something. Go to settings.
Settings. What is up, Andrew? I'm in
Hey,
settings.
Andrew. This will be worth where I'm going with this.
Okay. All right. I'm in settings.
Okay. Go to shit. Where did I...
So far, this is a great audio podcast.
This is fucking amazing.
We've aged like a fine wine on this show.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to do. In the search bar, type in privacy.
Okay. I'm in
Privacy comes up. Click on privacy.
Yep.
Okay. Next, you see location services.
Yeah.
Click on location services.
Okay.
Okay. Scroll down. See it says system services.
Yeah.
Okay. Click on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now go all the way down. It's almost that. See, do you see where it says significant locations?
Yes.
Okay. Click on that, and you have to probably put your password or finger ID in there.
Okay.
You did that?
Yeah.
What do you see, Jay? What's the history?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Thanks.
That was perfect timing for that. That was a good timing on that one also.
Yeah, it was.
Jay, what do you say?
I see a lot of places I've been.
Read off some places. I assume anything you don't want to share, don't read off. But
I see Manhattan. I see where I live. I see the next town over in both.
Okay, Manhattan. Click on Manhattan.
Okay.
What's it say?
Lexington Ave, Starbucks, my work address.
Pick one and just click on it again.
Okay. I don't remember going to Starbucks 3 times, so I'll click on that. It doesn't let me click on anything.
Okay, go pick a different location then.
Significant locations. Yeah, it all disappeared.
It all disappeared.
Yeah, let me go back. Okay. All right. Oh, it says the time.
The time you were there, the drive time to get there. Like you knew your phone was tracking you, but is this kind of weird to see how much your phone is tracking you?
Yeah, it's like via a 7-minute walk.
Yes.
It's like
How fucking creepy. So basically, your phone, and we all were kind of aware your phone tracks you, but this is your phone tracking you. This is telling you where you've been, how many times you've been there. It'll give you an estimate. Sometimes some things are off here, but like generally give you an estimate of how long it took you to walk or drive there.
that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. No, it knows the difference between walking and driving. This one says 16-minute drive. So
Yeah, there are a couple of them that said like weird things. They'll say like a 7-day drive, and I'm like, that's probably not what you're. But generally speaking, it has like it's fucking weird.
So guys, don't get the vaccine because it's a tracking device, but
Exactly.
keep that in your pocket.
Don't. The government's trying to track you. AT&T is trying and successfully tracking you. Everything about you is out there.
Yeah.
Your phone company has everywhere you're going because you're carrying a tracker in your pocket or purse. You're posting everything you're doing on Facebook or anywhere else. All your pictures in the cloud. Everything you're doing is already being exposed. Plus, Google knows shit that no one should ever know about you. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I need like I need to find somebody who, like, if I die unexpectedly, can come over and like delete a couple folders on my computer.
The instructions on his will say just light a fire in his apartment if anything happens. Ask his girlfriend to leave, tell her she'll understand, and put some dynamite in that room.
Here's the password to my crypto. Take that password and burn my computer to the ground.
Please, for the sake of my family, don't look at my Google history. Please don't.
Don't look at the folder that says important documents. It's definitely not important documents.
Jay, these aren't documents. They're all movies. That's not a document. Should I click on one of these? Oh my God.
Jay's got some fetishes.
It'd be weird if you pass on, your wife's like, oh my God, this is so sad, whatever, and just get the phone call. Hi, I work with Google. I know you were sad. I'm gonna make you happy he's dead. Do you think if you work at one of these companies, we don't work at any of these companies, how much access do people have?
I mean,
like I imagine Mark Zuckerberg could look up any shit he wants about me, and I just have to be like, it's fine, whatever, or whoever the people that run Google or anything else. But how high level? Like, if you just have you're an engineer at Google, can you just fucking look up your shit?
I feel like
how else is this shit guarded?
I feel like if you work at like an internet provider, you can probably see my whole internet history in real time.
You know what? You know, it'd be great if Iran calls up and goes, Biden, we have all your Google searches. My Google searches? No. All of America's Google searches. Do you want nuclear weapons instead? It's so weird, the shit that's out there.
Yeah, I don't think I like that, but it's either that or just don't have a phone, right? Or just keep it in airplane mode the whole time.
Or just don't track, or just don't be connected online. Did you see the new thing from I'm sorry that I bring up pedophilia every episode, but
I think
here's Mark's bit about pedophilia. Dun, 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 dun.
I think last episode might have been the first time you did not bring it up. I didn't want to say anything to jinx it.
You don't want to jinx the perfect game.
We're on a 1 episode streak.
I don't know if you've heard. So I guess it was Apple. I think it's Apple, who basically is now filtering all photos uploaded to the cloud to look for anything that resembles child pornography in their efforts to fight child pornography.
Okay.
On the one hand, people say that would be very helpful in the efforts to fight child pornography. It's a terrible thing, and we do want to fight that. On the other hand, people are like, you're looking through all our photos. What else do you want to look for?
Well, I mean, also, if you're doing that, are you uploading it to the cloud?
Yes, that's the best part. Oh man, my phone's out of storage. Oh, for $2 a month, I can put all my child pornography on the cloud. Great idea.
What a deal.
Look at this. I get 100 gigabytes of child pornography every month from Apple. Thank you, Apple.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty bad idea if you're going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be really, but it was just like a thing. There were people who were like, "That's cool and all, Apple. You're getting a little creepy with this shit." Yeah.
There's no privacy. So
you know what? Also, how that came about, that technology. I don't know if you're aware of this. Someone was like, "Hey, Mr. Engineer, why are you looking through everyone's photos?" Oh, I came up with a way to scan for child pornography. Really? Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm not just creepily looking through people's photos. I'm doing that instead.
And your pants are off because
I don't know if you've ever. I'm assuming you've not, but a lot of young people out there have sexted. Jay, have you ever sexted?
No,
By the way, I was gonna throw up. You said yes. Go on.
No, I think we're of the age where we kind of missed out on that whole phase.
I think so. Actually, did Bry say he once did that, or my
I'm not sure. I do have a friend who has, but I feel like most people our age have missed that boat.
But
when we had our first phones, we had to push 7 4 times to get to S. So it took way too long.
T9 thing, yeah.
Yeah, it took way too long to sext.
Texting was really too annoying, and I don't know. Also, like when you met your girlfriend, like you probably weren't just texting a lot when you first met her, right? Because texting hadn't really taken over as a form of communication.
No, it was still more phone calls. Yeah.
Yeah, like right before I met my wife, there was some girl I hung out with who only wanted to text, and I thought it was so weird. Turns out I was the weird one. She was part of a revolution, I guess.
Little did you know you'd get your first smartphone like 9 years later.
Yes. 9 years thereafter, I'd have a smartphone, so I'd catch up with her. I used to find texting so the best thing of all was like everyone had a smartphone but me at some point. Not some point for like 6 or 7 years.
You got your first one like 2-3 years ago, right?
I got my first a little bit longer. I got my first smartphone when I moved out to Long Island, 2015.
Okay.
So I mean, I got the 6. That was my first one was the 6. That had been out for I think a year when I got it, or maybe maybe a year. But like the iPhone came out in 2007, so definitely behind the curve.
Andrew said, "How soundproof is Mark's basement? Hopefully, very."
Have I said anything wrong yet? That's going to be released online.
You're just picturing your daughter like, "Mom, what's a pedophile?"
Yeah, that's why I like doing the show in the basement now. I'm like,
How come once a week Daddy goes downstairs and talks about pedophiles?
It's Mark's pedophilia segment. Mark, what's going on in the world of pedophilia? Well, but yeah. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. What I was going to say, but oh yeah, this is what you said. So I used to try to text with people. You know how people will send multiple texts in a row? You might like say, "Hey, what's up? How's it going with?" And you'll send like multiple texts, and it doesn't really matter because it's fine if someone sends you 3 straight texts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's generally not a big deal. So I would try to text back. If someone texted me, my text would delete. And then I try to text again, and I would try texting, and someone texted me, my text would delete. And then if you're like a chain with 3 or 4 people, I couldn't reply to any text messages. First of all, I had trouble doing reply all, and yeah, it was kind of it didn't work very well.
With your...
my flip phone was not made for replying to smartphones.
So that's the only reason you got one, is because you were literally unable to like communicate with people.
Yeah, well, that, and I moved. I think I was going to take the train, and I just figured with work, I figured I'd be stuck on the train, and I'm like, I should have access to my. I don't know. It's been helpful for work, but it's also like made me more chained to email and everything for work. Also,
I thought you just watched Sons of Anarchy on the train.
that was probably my other reason. I watched a lot of shows on TV. Yeah, the train would be a lot more boring without the phone. The phone's kind of okay. Phone, you can track me wherever I go. It's totally fine. Don't tell anyone what happens in private mode.
I just read.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting, Jay. What are you reading?
I'm reading
It'd be great, Jay's like, I'm reading erotic fiction.
The Aerosmith autobiography.
Walk This Way.
Yes. Excellent. Good stuff.
Was the original title My Daughter's Hot?
Which one? I found out he had 3.
Oh, I'm more thinking of the one that was in Armageddon.
Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe, is there a whole chapter explaining her name?
There's a chapter explaining when she became Tyler, because she didn't know that he was her dad for like 14 years. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like surprised, but I did not know that.
Yeah. So apparently he kept having daughters and like and then divorcing the mom and not telling the kid like that he was their dad. Like, the whole thing's. He had a 14-year-old girlfriend when he was like 26. The whole book is insane. It's an insane book.
That actually sounds pretty good. Maybe I should be doing more reading.
So there you go.
I don't commute anymore though, so like it makes it hard to read.
Oh, lucky you.
So Jay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Would you trade a portion of your salary to never commute again? They did a survey, actually, it was something I had for the show. They did a survey of Americans, and they said, how much of your salary would you trade to never commute again? First of all, what would you say? And then I'm curious what you think Americans in this survey said.
I would trade $5,000 to not commute again. But
okay,
I would also forfeit like a raise next year as well.
Okay.
I just feel like I'm in a comfortable salary range finally, so I don't want to go under too much.
Okay, no, that's fine. So they said 65% of workers who said their jobs could be done entirely remotely. Obviously, if you're a plumber, taking a 5% pay cut to work from home would be kind of fun. Yeah. What reduction do you think people would be comfortable with to work from home?
I'm gonna say 10.
Okay. The answer was 5, actually. I
Okay.
accidentally said it was the last thing.
Okay.
I see. I guess 10%. I would have been more surprised with 10%, but 5%, like, seems like a good deal for the companies.
I was talking 5,000, not 5%.
Yeah. It just gives percent, obviously, because it's like a lot of work. Obviously, not everyone makes the same money, so percent
Yeah.
makes more sense for like a
Five.
survey.
I mean, if I was a company owner, I would do that in a second.
Yeah, it's not a bad deal at all. Plus, you have less expenses because the person's not coming into the office.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
honestly, the person commuting has less expense. I'd save $3,000 a year um, on commuting. So
They say you spend more on like things for your house. Like you're gonna spend more on air conditioning, say, or spend on more on like electricity because you're home more. You don't think would you now I know you've did it for a year and a half,
mhm.
or almost a year and a half. Do you think at all you would get bored never going to the office?
Absolutely not. Even if I wasn't working, I don't get bored at home. I just don't.
I think I'd be down for the 5% pay cut to never go back in.
Yeah, I don't get people who get bored. Like, get a hobby.
I really the so they say I'm reading this book about like what they think going to happen in the future for the society, and there's a whole theory. Um, you know the term AI, right? Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So they think AI will take over more jobs, and I think what they're saying in this book is probably because they also are saying like where we are at technology with the AI right now. Over the next 50 years, it's going to advance by insane leaps and bounds. Like you're going to see what's possible now, what's possible 50 years from now is going to be insanely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they basically stuff grows like exponentially, like computing power grows exponentially. Anyway, so they think what's going to happen normally throughout human history, there's the rich, and then like there's people that are exploited. So basically, like in America, we had slaves. China, they have basically a slave system. A lot of countries now have a system of really people are paid very little and they're forced to work and they do like some kind of labor. It's almost slavery, but not slavery. But anyway, what they're saying is going to eventually happen. Because in any kind of situation where you have people who are treated really poorly with like shitty jobs, eventually they can have a revolution, try to overthrow the system. What they think is going to happen is instead of having people exploited by jobs, we're just going to have a class of people that are just unemployable in the sense of AI is going to take so many jobs away. This is the whole thing that, what's his name? Who was the guy that was running for president on this stuff? The
Andrew
Asian
Yang.
guy. Yeah, Andrew Yang had a whole thing about how AI is basically going to take over all jobs, or take over like a good percentage of jobs. Like there'll still be like certain service jobs. Like you're not gonna AI will never take over your plumber. AI will never take over a home healthcare worker, but AI could take over accounting, law, a lot of professions, and so you'll have a whole class of people who they'll just know, like just they won't be skilled enough to do a certain level of work, and there'll just be no jobs, and the government will be forced to basically give them some kind of basic income. But even if they give them some basic income so they can survive, what are these people going to do all day? Because people basically, if you were given the basic income so you could survive, you could have like a basic apartment, basic level services, and you had nothing to do ever for the next 40 years, would you be fine?
Sounds like living the dream to me.
I know, it doesn't sound bad to me. The theory that was that people would not be fine. People would get like, eventually this is how people join cults. People need something to do with their time.
I know people who are like this. I have an ex who was losing her mind through the whole quarantine because she likes going out and interacting. For me, like, I'm really into music and reading and video games and TV. Like, just rotating between those things, there's an infinite amount of all of those things, and it takes up the whole day. So then that's it. I'm fine.
Yeah, I know. So I know some people who are really. I have one friend he's single. I mean, actually just got a girlfriend, but like generally speaking, throughout the whole thing, he was single, living alone, and couldn't have been more occupied. Just had this thing and that thing to
Yeah.
do. Like totally happy. And I know other people who are just like, who sound like a little bit like your girlfriend, they're like losing their mind because they have nothing to do all the time.
Yeah.
I think I I gladly retire tomorrow, never need to work and be totally fine. But I understand. So one thing they were talking about in the book was that I guess apparently, and I didn't know this, in Israel, for people who were Orthodox Jewish, basically, they said about half the Orthodox men there basically don't have a job. Essentially, they basically spend all their time studying the Torah, in deeply studying the Torah, and the government basically subsidizes. The government wants people to be studying the Torah, and so they subsidize the people doing it, or their wives are working and they have like 7 kids. They have big families, study the Torah. But they were saying how like this, I guess the idea basically was if people aren't doing anything, but they're attached to some kind of religion or something, that could give them their lives meaning. It was almost like the book was implying that you need to, if we can create some religion or something that for people to like spend their time doing, if they don't have real work to do anymore, that would be a way to keep people happy.
I think we need less religion, not more.
I would agree with you.
So
but that was like
we went over my girlfriend's friend's place on Saturday, and they live in the middle of a Hasidic neighborhood, and we didn't know it. So it's Saturday. It's like 5:30 p.m.
Where do they live? Where do they live?
I don't remember the name of the town. It was in Westchester. It's like 30 minutes west of me. You have to pass over the Hudson, and then there's like Armand or something like that.
Okay, Armonk?
No, it wasn't Armonk. I think it was Armand.
Okay, I don't know. Go on.
So anyway, it's like 5:30 in the afternoon, and we go through this main street, and there's like 3 straight shopping centers with all the lights out, and there's no cars. And we didn't realize we were going through that neighborhood, and we were going through on the Sabbath. So I was like, was there a fucking zombie apocalypse? I'm like, all right, I'm keeping a lookout. I'm giving a code word. If I scream it, just punch the gas and don't look back. And like, we're like freaking out. It was like an abandoned neighborhood, but we realized it was, I guess, all Hasidic owned, and they don't work on Saturdays. So like the whole neighborhood was just shut down. It was weird. It was weird.
You know, actually, I went with some friends to Europe after graduation college. We were in Spain, and where we were in Spain, they basically honored the siesta. Everything shut down for like 3 hours, middle of the day. And we were like, it's 3 o'clock. How can everything be closed? We were like bored as shit.
I mean, I get it. Around 3 o'clock is when I really start struggling with staying awake and like.
We struggled to like adapt to it, even though I think that's kind of an amazing lifestyle.
I do too.
They would go to dinner at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night and have like, I was like, they really are living the life. I wish we could adjust to this.
When I first moved to Astoria, it was almost all European, and same thing. All the restaurants would be empty at like 5, 6, 7, and then like 9, 10 o'clock they would all get packed. Yeah, it was a very European lifestyle there.
It sounds pretty good.
Andrew asks, would Jay forfeit the Knicks ever winning a championship in his lifetime to not have to commute?
Plus, you get a $5,000 raise.
I'm sorry, Knicks fans, but I would be selfish on that one, and I would work from home.
Are you just making that sacrifice because you know that one of those things is not going to happen?
I mean, it's a pretty safe bet. Like, imagine I commuted all those years, and then they don't win anyway, and I'm just like, well, I just wasted 2.5 hours a day on the train. Like,
yeah, you're like, I should have. God damn it! It'd be weird if your job could make that offer to you.
Yeah.
We can fix it so the Knicks never win the title. And that's what we're gonna do if you want to work from home, Jay. I'll take the deal, devil.
They're about to win, and my boss is in one of the box seats with a sniper rifle. He just caps Randall in the knee right before the game's over.
Yes, if Randall hits one of these 3 free throws, the Knicks are NBA champions. Oh my God, he shot. He'll never make it to the free throw line. Knicks lose.
He leaves
and everyone knows it's Jay. Jay, you could go into the office. I've been living my entire life to see a title. You could go to the office. You don't understand the commute. I wake up at 6:30.
He leaves a banner that says "This one's for Jay" right before he shoots. Yeah, I'm just not a fan. Now that I know it can be done, I'm like extra jaded about commuting because I know it can be done.
So you're commuting. My understanding is commuting 4 days a week and 1 day a week from home.
Yes.
Um,
Which is,
does
it's still 20% less than I was before COVID. So, like, really, if COVID didn't happen, I would be so happy to not commute 1 day a week.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say also you work a half day on that Friday, so you basically have a two instead of a 2 day weekend, you have a 2.5 day weekend.
Yeah.
Be fair to say
Yeah.
that's not bad actually for like lifestyle purposes.
It's not. I mean, it was like 12:30 last Friday, and like my girlfriend got home from work early, and she's like, "You want to go out to lunch?" I'm like, "Yeah, we can actually like go out to lunch because I don't have to work anymore." And I was already like dressed. I wasn't in my stupid work clothes, so it was nice.
What do you hang on? What do you mean you're already dressed? You weren't in your Oh, you mean like you weren't wearing like
I was
you
wearing a
weren't dressed
t-shirt
up.
and shorts,
Yeah.
and it was
Got
like
got
90 degrees out, so I could actually like just get up and walk outside instead of like I can't walk outside because I'm wearing dress pants and 2 shirts, so like I need to change.
Yeah, no, that's I feel like that's a lot better. If you just didn't know what was possible, like you hadn't had the last year and a half, you'd be like, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get into my head when I'm on the train and I'm like, fuck, it's early and I hate this shit. And I'm like, I have it better than I did before pre-COVID, and I also have it better in like every aspect of this job. So, I can't really, I feel like I'd be nitpicking at this point.
So changing topics.
Mhm.
Do you think the screenwriter for the I Am Legend should is it his duty to let Americans know that his movie is fake?
Please tell me people didn't think it was a documentary.
There was apparently a meme going around with a scene of Will Smith and one of the zombies, and it says, "Remember in I Am Legend, the sickness didn't make the zombies, the vaccination did." And so there was an anti-vax thing that basically they thought vaccinations were what made the zombies in the movie, and that there were people basically thinking that like I might become a zombie if I take the COVID vaccination.
First of all, they were vampires. And second of all, they thought the entire earth repopulated from Will Smith.
So on Twitter, the screenwriter for I Am Legend said, it's in fact fiction. It's not a documentary about zombies or something. He said, "Oh my God, it's a movie I made up. It's not real."
It's actually, that's also
was
a
a
lie
book.
because it's a
Yeah.
book that he stole, so it's not a movie he made up.
I don't think he stole. I think
Well, he got the rights to, but
Yeah.
he made up the ending.
Jay just assumes every time like a movie gets made, Jurassic Park, holy shit, I can't believe Steven Spielberg stole that. That's fucking bullshit. I have the book right here. You should sue. It's the same goddamn title. Michael Crichton, where are you?
Rolling over in his grave because they didn't use the. Never mind.
Yeah. So I have you ever seen World War Z?
No, I read the book though.
Okay, so someone was told me, which I thought was really interesting, in the and you can correct me because you actually read the book. They defeat World War Z is a bunch of it's another zombie movie, right?
It's a zombie movie. Yeah, vampires in I Am Legend.
Oh, were they vampires?
They couldn't go out at night. I mean, they couldn't go out during the day. And they drank blood. There's a bunch of vampires.
I thought they were zombies.
What kind of zombies don't go out during the day?
I don't fucking know. I mean, it didn't seem like they were like Count Dracula. Like I didn't get any sense they were vampires. I think you're making that up.
Have you ever heard of a zombie that won't go out during the day?
It's all fucking made up, Jay.
No, they were vampires.
At no point did they turn into a bat.
Well, that's only Dracula, the king of the vampires.
I thought they all could turn into bats.
Have you seen Blade? Did the whole dance club turn into bats when Blade showed up in the dance club?
I don't fucking know. Now we're citing other movies.
Well, it's vampire movies, yeah. You got to be okay.
Okay, whatever.
Daybreakers.
So I guess someone told me that in World War Z a vaccine was used to somehow defeat the vampires or defeat the zombies.
So there's no zombies in the book.
World War Z has no zombies?
So the book is chronicles of like the zombie thing is completely over, and it's like short excerpts of stories of survivors, and they're like telling what they saw
From the zombie war, right?
Yeah. So
I
like,
think it's based on, there's a similar book about maybe World War One or World War Two that's based on it.
so I think the movie is the zombies are actually in the present, but in the book it's over. There's no zombies anymore.
Yeah, because or else the commercials are really full of shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, and the Brad Pitt's in the movie. There's zombies running around. So anyway, someone told me, I guess in the movie, I think it was like either you got a vaccine and then the zombies can no longer like smell you or find you, or I forget exactly. Anyway, I just thought it would be an amazing SNL bit or like anything else, like where there's zombies around. The only way to stop the zombie from killing you is to get a vaccine, and then exploring the anti-vax movement within the zombie apocalypse.
There would be one. There would definitely be one.
I don't know, Jay. I don't know if I really want to get the. Can we cut to a scene from that movie? I'll be the anti-vaxxer. Jay, you could be the friend trying to convince me.
Can I be the InfoWars anti-vaxxer? And
We could do a second. We could do a second bit, Jay. I'm going to start with the anti-vaxxer here first. Okay, I'm not anti. You could be the anti-vaxxer. I'll be vaccine hesitant. How's that?
Okay, I'll be the extreme anti-vaxxer.
In your bit right now, you're a friend trying to get me to get the vaccine.
Okay,
I'll do the same thing with you. Okay.
All right.
We'll play nicely.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Jay, I don't know. The FDA has not approved these vaccines yet. I'm just a little bit concerned about what I'm putting into my body.
You realize that people are eating other people's flesh.
Yeah, I know there's some risks in not taking it, but my understanding is the zombies. Like, I don't know anyone who's actually been eaten by a zombie. I hear about them on the news, and I think down the street someone got eaten, but like, I don't know. I've been kind of safe. I don't go out that much. I do my job from home remotely, so I think I'm fine.
The entire society has collapsed. Like, get the vaccine.
Yeah, we don't really know the long-term consequences of these vaccines. And what if the stuff about the microchips, the government putting microchips in you, what if that's real?
So you're worried about them following you while you're running away from the actual zombies?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, are we sure the zombies are really how dangerous really is a zombie?
I would say they eat you. So I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, it's pretty close to a 10.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think maybe I just want to wait till, like they said, like the Moderna vaccine for the zombies. They said that could lead to some heart palpitations, and I don't know. They paused that for a little while. I just want to wait till there's a little more testing on the vaccines.
Have you been to the r/zombies ate my neighbor Reddit?
Oh yeah, I don't know. People are just complaining so much on there.
It seems like there's a lot of evidence that zombies are way worse than the vaccine.
I don't know. I mean, it's just they mostly eat old people. Old people they were gonna die anyway. I think if the flu would have killed them, zombies killed them. What's the difference? And you know what? The zombies are pretty slow. I can jog pretty fast. Chances are zombies won't even catch me because I'm pretty good health. I'm pretty healthy.
I mean, have you heard of herds? There's giant groups of them. You're not going to outrun 1,000 zombies. And they're going to eat. What happens when they eat all the old people? Then it's just going to. You're next.
Oh, okay. Let's cut to your scene.
Okay.
Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I care a lot about you.
Mm-hmm.
You're a good friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you please just get the goddamn vaccine?
The
zombies are in the street eating people. The only thing that will stop them from eating you is the vaccine.
What are you, a goddamn liberal? First of all, zombies don't even exist.
What do you mean? You look out your window, there are zombies on the street right now.
That's what the liberals want you to think. It's a false flag hoax.
False flag? You mean the liberals are dressed up like zombies eating their friends?
It's Antifa.
What the hell does Antifa have to do with anything? There are zombies. Look on the news. It's a zombie apocalypse. The only way to stop them, if we had this miracle cure Why don't you take the vaccine?
Antifa's dressing up as zombies to try and cancel right wingers.
They're just trying to like. The people are being eaten, Jay.
No, it's really they're just trying to get Tucker Carlson canceled. It's an elaborate
Tucker
hoax.
Carlson was eaten last week on the air by a zombie.
That was you know what? Give me 10 minutes. I can mock up a video too. It was mocked up. Just like Sandy Hook. The whole thing was faked. It was staged. They were crisis actors. That was a crisis actor, Tucker Carlson.
They say 600,000 Americans have already been eaten by zombies.
How many more would have been eaten if the Democrats got elected to office again?
The fuck does that even mean?
Exactly. You know what I mean.
Jay, they say there's a very small percentage of people that still get eaten with the vaccine. Most people that have the vaccine, they say 99% of the people that are being eaten right now are unvaccinated.
Yeah, that's those are fake numbers.
What do you mean they're counting?
The liberal media is reporting those numbers. You got to go to a real site.
What's the real site? What are you finding on your news sites?
You got to go to rightwingwatch.org/WordPress, and it's got all the real numbers there. I have the documents right in front of me.
What are the real numbers?
7.
7 what?
7 Antifa people got eaten by a zombie. That's it.
You just said Antifa was the zombies. I don't follow
Both.
you.
It's
You
both.
fucking get the vaccine.
Everything's
You're going
Antifa.
to die. You are not fast enough to outrun the zombies. You're not even in great shape. Come on.
This is just a slippery slope.
How is this a slippery slope?
First, you're trying to protect me from zombies. What next? You're going to protect me from werewolves? Sasquatches?
Well, if the vaccine will protect you from those things, we live in a weird world right now, Jay. What if there's a mutation and they mutate from zombies to werewolf zombies? What are you gonna do then?
You're just going to ask me to change some bathroom signs now, aren't you? You know what this is? This is
What?
a war on Christmas.
God damn it. You're right, it is.
I feel like
I feel like you really brought it for your bit more than my bit.
I just channeled Alex Jones, and I feel like that would really happen, though.
I think they're really people would definitely be like, I don't know. I know people are getting eaten in the streets, but like, what about the long-term consequences of this stuff?
Somebody on Twitter was like, more people are going to die from the vaccine than COVID. And stupid me, I replied, I said, over 4 million people have died. Do you think more people will die from the vaccine? And he's like, yes, absolutely, within 3 to 5 years.
I saw you write that on Twitter. Like, here's my take on that. If you believe that most people that got the vaccine will die from the vaccine in the next 3 to 5 years, then I'd like to be one of the people that dies from the vaccine in the next 3 to 5 years, because I don't want to live in a world where they just lost 300 million people. That would be a really bad place to live.
My commute would be quicker.
That's true. Can you imagine like a billion people just die? There's a show like that actually on HBO where I think 10% or 20% of the world population just disappears.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I feel like if 10% of or I think it was even less. It was like 2% or something. But like,
yeah, it was basically the whole idea was they were what's that Christian thing where they go, everyone gets sent
the rapture.
brought to heaven.
The
rapture. Yeah, the
we
rapture.
did like
happened.
7 straight episodes on the rapture.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a good show also. But
I feel like if 2% of the people disappeared, you might not even notice.
I think you'd notice 2% of people disappearing.
I don't know.
That's 140 million people.
Spread out throughout the globe. It's like 20 people in Manhattan.
Would it be weird if they're like, we just learned a couple of years, apparently it's been 2 years since anyone was sighted on Africa. The entire continent just disappeared.
All 140, the whole 2% was just there.
It's just concentrated in one place. And no one's like, shit, my phone calls aren't being returned. That's really weird.
So I was reading a list of worst TV shows ever, and there's a show called something like Whoopsie, and it's 7 people who accidentally launched all the nukes on the planet, and so they're in a fallout shelter, and they're the only 7 people left on the planet, and it's a comedy show.
It's called Whoopsie.
It's something like that. It's like oopsie, oopsie doopsie. It's something ridiculous, and it's about like the only 7 survivors in the world.
Who's in it? Do you remember?
It's like nobody famous.
Oh, because I remember there being some kind of show where like a comedy where everyone in the world got wiped out, and they're like there's like 6 or 7 survivors. I think someone from Mad TV was on that. I don't know. Whatever. I like how the show's called Whoopsie.
I got to get the name of it. It's something like that. It's like Whoopsie or Whoops. It's called Whoops. WOOPS.
Oh, okay.
It was made in 2002. Wait, 1992.
Oh, I want to see who's on the show.
And there was 13 episodes.
Oh, I don't think I remember the show, but that's kind of a funny.
So there's 13 episodes and there was 10 writers.
It's a lot of writers. Oh, and everyone looks like you have like the. I'm just looking at the picture right now. You have like the conservative, like office guy, the one black dude. There's some guy who looks like he's not as like they have all these. It's like the real world cast.
It's amazing that only 7 people survived, and it was like one of everything.
I think this is what I think I'm thinking of, actually. I think I saw this back in the day.
Really?
I think so. I think it was probably terrible.
One guy looks like Tim the Toolman Taylor's sidekick, Al Borland.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was.
I'd like. Is there any way we can watch the show and talk about it get the episodes? And talk
I would
about
love
it
to watch that. I would love to watch an episode of that show.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. That'd be a fun one to make fun of.
Yeah, that would be a good like Mystery Science Theater. We probably wouldn't.
Exactly.
That probably wouldn't get pulled. I doubt anybody has the rights to that.
Never get pulled. No one would give a shit that we talk about it.
They're like, thank you for airing that.
So, Jet, I have an opportunity for you.
Okay.
What are you doing for the next year?
Probably working and grumbling during my commute.
What if I can give? I have something you can do for the next year.
Mm-hmm.
You could if you're gonna live in a space that's 1,700 square foot.
Okay. That's a good size.
And that's all you're basically, and the place is gonna look like Mars.
So just red dirt.
NASA wants you to pretend you live on Mars for a whole year so they could study you.
Mm-hmm.
Like the movie The Martian with Matt Damon, they want real people to be in this experiment for the possibility of sending people to Mars in the future.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like that idea? Do you want to pretend to be on Mars for an entire year?
Does Mars have Wi-Fi?
I don't know. I guess they must give you some basic amenities. Like, I mean, it's going to be a few people all put together, like almost like a terrible real world skip bit.
Did you read The Martian?
I didn't read The Martian because I'm illiterate, Jay.
I
Did
read
you read
everything. Yeah, it was no, because he makes like a potato farm out of like his shit, and so he eats nothing but like plain potatoes for like a year. So am I gonna have to do that?
The article mentions potatoes. They say you're not getting potatoes. They're gonna give you basically dried like astronaut type food.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll give you. You don't have to grow anything.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, to do this, you must have a master's degree in science, engineering, or a math field, or experience as a pilot.
Or a CPA.
Or a CPA. You have to be between the ages of 30 and 55, be in good physical health with no dietary issues, and not prone to motion sickness. They basically want the basic requirements of being a astronaut to do this. Who is up? Who has basically, like, what's going on for you in your life that you've gotten one of these master's degrees, you're in good physical health, and you're like, yeah, I'll do this for the next year.
If you told me 3 months ago when I was at my shitty job, I would have taken that deal in a heartbeat.
They don't say how much they're paying the people. I have to think they're paid something decent for this. But I can't imagine how decent. They're not getting I don't think they're getting $1 million for this.
I mean, if they just matched my salary of my last job, I would have done it.
Would so you would, for your current salary or let's say your last salary,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Your current salary, you would go live on Mars, not like this fictionalized version of Mars. You'd live there for a year, just disappear.
When I was in my last job, I would have, because I was not in a good headspace, and being isolated on Mars was a better situation.
I don't want to name your old company or anything, so I'm just gonna say, like they just like, wow, another application from Jay's company. Holy crap, that's a lot of application for that one company.
Yeah. It's like, oh, look, the whole billing team has applied to be on Mars for a year.
So the paid volunteers will work in a simulated Martian exploration mission, complete with spacewalks, limited communications back home, restricted food and resources, and equipment failures.
Oh, that's a good
I don't know why
question.
they have to. I don't know why they have to start by saying they're going to be equipment failures.
They're just going to stage equipment failures. And that's a good point. Andrew said, do I have to commute?
I think you're just there. It's not. You don't go home.
Okay.
It's 1,700 square feet. You're just there.
But you said I'm with a bunch of other people?
I think they're looking for more than one people.
Because 1,700 square feet gets small quick if there's like 5-6 other people.
They're planning 3 experiments with one coming this fall. I'm looking for the actual number of people. I don't know. I got the sense there were going to be 3 or 4 people in this experiment.
Okay. I mean, 3 or 4 people is not bad. Anything more than that, then you start.
So apparently, I guess a while back, another experiment was done like this. Let me find the, and it didn't go that well. It was like in 2013, and they just found the astronauts just basically getting super lazy. Like apparently, you're supposed to do a certain amount of like real physical activity every day, or else your muscles will atrophy.
Yeah.
And the people just refused to do it. Like people just got really lazy and like really depressed, and it really did not go very well last time they did this.
I wonder if, I mean, I'm thinking they didn't have, like, they couldn't watch Netflix all day because that's not available on Mars. So, I mean, I wonder
So
what they did. Yeah.
in this old experiment, this was about I think 2013. It was a space. They had 6 volunteers confined to a cramped mock spaceship in Moscow to simulate a 17-month voyage. So it wasn't quite Mars. It was like, I guess the idea of going to Mars. And they said it made the would-be spacemen lethargic, much like birds and bears heading into winter, gearing up for hibernation. They said they had people had considerable trouble sleeping. What else happened? A few of the men squirreled themselves away into the most private nooks they could find. They didn't move much. They avoided crucial exercise.
That sounds weird.
Yeah, people got real weird during this experiment.
Hey guys, I know we're in a cramped quarters, but I'm just going to, can you move over so I can plug in my apnea machine?
Jay's like, wait a second. I got my toothbrush. I forgot my apnea machine. I won't sleep for an entire year.
Actually, back and forth, that's 34 months, 3 years.
Holy. Well, I think so this thing was 17 months. It was not an actual trip to Mars. It was just like simulated. But they were stuck in the space for 17 months.
Wouldn't that be funny if they're like, oh, thank God it's finally over. Like, no, you just simulated getting to Mars. Now you got to simulate getting back to Mars.
Oh my God, that'd be pretty bad. Also, would you fight fires for $15 an hour?
No.
They said, about the major forest fires they're having. The U.S. is struggling to find enough firefighters.
I might light fires for $15 an hour.
And I guess the U.S. Forest Service is basically calling up people who like would work part-time for these companies and be like, hey, you want to come back? We're really we're fighting fires. Like we're fighting for our lives. Do you mind coming back to work? And I guess one person's was like, I don't know. The job didn't come with benefits. It was like seasonal work for only $15 an hour. I want to help out, but I'm making more money and I got benefits of this job.
But how about, come on?
That's pretty much the argument. It was like, come on. I found that interesting. Like, you're like, we need to save the world, but we're only going to go to $15 an hour.
I don't know. It just seems so weird what some jobs pay versus what other jobs pay. Like,
Um,
I don't know. It's
by the way, we have some Facebook questions I want to go to, but I just want to point out I don't know if you heard about the Colorado Rockies fan controversy.
I just saw that they were the fan was yelling out the mascot's name, and people said it was the N word.
The mascot's name was Dinger. I'm not sure how it turned to a different name, but after reviewing the footage, they said our fan just really wanted to take a picture with the mascot.
But his life is probably ruined anyway.
I don't know how it came to that. And also, like, I don't know, just do a better job of naming your mascot. Call him Fluffy, okay? No one's gonna get confused when you call him Fluffy. So we have a couple questions.
Okay.
So the first thing, Dean wrote to us with a couple questions. First, he said, hey guys, listening back to your April 20th episode, number 363, here on August 9th, it's shuddering to me that you were discussing the likelihood of a variant when just a month or so later, we saw Delta open a can of whoop ass. Here in Australia, much of the eastern seaboard is locked down and the rest of the nation is essentially a Mad Max movie. For myself, I'm with Jay in not wanting to interact with humans, knowing that every single person I encounter is a possible vector of transmission. At this point, I almost wish our gun laws were relaxed enough that I could conceal carry.
I mean, we're always ahead of the curve on this show.
Where's it going now, Jay? What is going to happen with COVID? Make your predictions.
Oh, we're definitely getting another wave, and it's probably going to be just as bad as the wave from last year. And people are just not going to give a shit.
Spoiler alert: humanity and variant Zeta are not going to go well together. Do you think? I will predict Delta in the U.S. They said like around October we'll start seeing like a decrease again. It'll spike around then, and I am going to predict. I'm going to make the bold prediction that will be the end of COVID being a significant issue in our country. By the end of the year, COVID will be almost over in our country.
Okay. I'm going to predict.
Is that a bold prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to predict the exact opposite.
Thank you, Jay, for being the optimist. Dean writes, a recent scuttlebutt out of Hollywood had a Die Hard prequel film on the cards. The idea was since been discredited for now. What's your perspective on the state of Hollywood, their reliance on retreads and reboots, and their inability to create new stories? First of all, what do you think about an idea of a Die Hard prequel?
It's just John McClane like working in an office.
Well, he was a cop in New York before he went to LA, and I guess like you'll get into like how he was a shitty husband.
He pulls a couple people over for speeding.
He was a cop in New York, and all he knows is the movie. She's out in LA, he's visiting, and at that point, he was a shitty husband.
Terrible.
Maybe it'll follow the entire story won't even follow him. It'll just follow the cop from Family Matters. His life as a cop.
I mean, the whole point of the movie was that he was a nobody who did this incredible thing. So, like, if anything epic happens in the prequel, it makes the whole series not make sense.
And really, who's the bad? Like, are you going to have similar bad guys? Like he's just like every week he's stopping a different like international like plot.
The whole reboot and like redo or prequel, like I hate it. I would rather a sequel with different actors. Just pretend, do like James Bond. Just make a new one. Thank you.
What's that mean?
I don't know, but thank you. Whatever happened.
Okay.
Something happened, and I want to thank you for that.
So as the producer said years ago, and this was what said, McClane would have two featured timelines, not unlike The Godfather Part 2. What was interesting about our idea was it allowed you the ability to meet the young John McClane and use Bruce. So you can still have Bruce Willis in it as the older version, but then a young John McClane also. How about just think of a new goddamn idea?
I would rather, honestly, I would rather somebody's hosting our stream. Okay, thank you. Thank you, whoever's hosting our stream.
I don't know what that means, but go on.
So if you want to follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/crumpledbacon, you can give us a follow and you get a notification when we go live.
Awesome.
I'd rather Die Hard 6 rather than a prequel or like a reboot. Like they're all talking about making a Rambo reboot with Adam Driver as Rambo.
I saw that. It's a major. Who's the actor? The director is going to do that.
I don't know who the director is going to be, but I just saw Adam Driver. But like, just make Rambo 6.
Or just make a new idea. It's. Here's actually one for you. I have a question.
Would you complain if they had Rambo 6, but Adam Driver was Rambo instead of Sylvester Stallone? Like, wouldn't that be better than just redoing the first movie?
Yeah, you're right. I don't like redoing. I don't like when every time they did Spider-Man, they redo Spider-Man. Every time they did Batman, they redo the Batman first.
Yeah, like they redid the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street. I agreed. Just continue the story.
Yeah.
I don't need a reboot.
Make Nightmare on Elm Street 8 and don't have Robert Englund.
I have a question for you. Are you a big Lord of the Rings fan?
Decent enough, yeah.
Okay. Are you excited for the Lord of the Rings TV show Amazon is producing?
They did the movies and they did all the books.
So apparently Amazon is spending $450 million on the first season.
But all the stories have been told. They're just going to make shit up.
Yeah, that's what you do. You make shit up, Jay. People write new stuff. Yes, exactly.
But
in the Lord of the Rings world, they're going to write a TV show because they can't fucking use $450 million will not resurrect J.R. Tolkien.
But if you're just going to make stuff up, then make a new story. Don't say it's like Lord of the Rings, but it's like...
They do this with Die Hard. They do it with everything. They make a part 2, part 3. They want to be in the Lord of the Rings world and have you be interested because it's Lord of the Rings, so they're going to write new story, like fan fiction, basically. You can't get past the idea that they're making a show off of this?
They're making a show based on a book, but not based on the book.
I don't know. People made stuff off of the Superman comic book, and not everything's based on the comic book. You write new stuff.
It's dumb. If you have source material, use source material. And if you don't have source material, make it a completely different thing.
They did that in Game of Thrones. They were out of source material and they kept going.
Well, that's because George R.R. Martin took 9 years to write a book.
I'm just saying.
That was not the plan. The plan was to go by the book.
It's also, they don't always go by the book. They Dexter, they left the books, they did a lot that were not in the books.
Well, they started making it when there was 2 books out. And then the 3rd book came out and they said the Dark Passenger is a space demon. And they said, you know what? We're not going to go by the book. And
it turns out, basically, based on the show, they should have gone by the book.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe one of the other books was better, but...
they're having a new season of Dexter, by the way.
I know. And I hate myself because I'm going to watch it.
I'm totally going to watch it. I want to see the season of Dexter I did not get to see. I want to see the season where everyone knows he's Dexter and everyone goes after him. I want to see more of that. I want to see good writing with the show.
Are they going to be like, oh, you've been a lumberjack for 9 years?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's going to clearly be a lot older.
I mean, his sister. I think his sister who died is going to be sister/ex-wife is going to be on the show, even though she's dead.
Cool.
Maybe they'll just rewrite. They'll be like, "We're starting at season 5 instead of season 7." Why not? Didn't Rocky do that? They just pretended when the movies didn't happen.
I think they pretended. I think they kind of pretended 5 didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they were like, well, 5 shouldn't have happened.
No, it's fine. But there was you could just do that. You could pretend a season didn't happen. If they said Dexter, we're going to pick it up after season 4. His girlfriend is laying bloodied in the bathtub. We're going to pick it up right there. You don't think every fan would be like, sounds good. Let's do this.
Yeah. No.
We're going to pick it up right before the show fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
What if they said Game of Thrones? We're going to pick up right after after the explosion, after the prince fell out the window. We're going to pick it up right there. You'd be like, fuck it, dude, let's do this. Let's do a better version of this. I'm all in.
I mean, I've always wished they would have done that with the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
On the other hand, see, that's the thing. They keep remaking movies that are good and people are disappointed. Remake movies that had a good idea but were shit so that you could do it better. Like, why they tried to remake Red Dawn. It's a great movie. Like, why are you going to remake a great movie?
Well, didn't they do that with Battlestar Galactica? They remade a show and made it better.
Yeah, because the original show was shit, and they
And yeah,
remade.
they did exactly what you're saying. I'm saying
Yeah,
like that. Your idea has been done.
and it went well, and everyone loved it.
Yeah.
They need to do that more often. Yeah, take a great idea that was not done well and do that.
So my batteries, actually, I should have brought my plug down here, but we'll see how long this lasts. Dean also writes, have you any thoughts on the recent news that Prince Andrew is being pursued in a civil suit by a woman who alleges he trafficked her for sex in connection with Jeffrey Epstein?
I mean, I kind of want it to be true, just because it would be absolutely amazing if they like uncovered this giant, like, all the right wing conspiracy theorists were right, and they're like, yeah, it does go all the way to the top. They're just trafficking, all the elite are trafficking people.
I mean, I still go. I still think it's a conspiracy theory to think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. I think that's the least plausible explanation of things.
Oh, he clearly did not. I mean, it's the government is so blatant at this point. They're like, you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna kill him. Everyone knows we're gonna kill him. What?
I think most of your 9/11 and your other, you have some conspiracies I think are outrageous, but this one, like, there's no way Epstein killed himself.
No, not a chance.
Yeah, I hope the prince goes down hard. Dean also writes, this might be one for Jay's girlfriend. Professors at U.S. medical schools are finding themselves apologizing for saying male and female in classroom settings. Students are policing teachers. Do you have any thoughts about the disturbing trend of activism taking over medicine?
I don't like it. I don't like it. I feel like people are going nuts catering to like the 0.1% of the population. I'm not saying you shouldn't respect them, but to just be like, how dare you say male and female is going a little bit overboard.
During a recent endocrinology course at a top medical school at the University of California, a professor stopped mid-lecture to apologize for something he'd said at the beginning of class. I don't want you to think I am in any way trying to imply anything, and if I can summon some generosity to forgive me, I would really appreciate it. The physician says in the recording provided by students in the class, who, again, I'm very sorry for that. It was certainly not my intention to offend anyone. The worst thing that I can do as a human being is be offensive. His offensive term, using the term pregnant women. I said when a woman is pregnant, which implies that only women can get pregnant, and I most sincerely apologize to all of you.
The Delta variant can't come soon enough. Just take
Going with more of the article, why would medical school professors apologize for referring to a patient's biological sex? Because in the context of medical school, acknowledging biological sex can be considered transphobic. When sex is acknowledged by her instructor, it's sometimes portrayed as a social construct, not a biological reality.
So when is the liftoff for that Mars simulation? Because I would rather be there.
I have to say, like, the idea that only women can be pregnant. Yes, that's it. So a bunch of years ago, there was that woman who, and this person was a woman, I think, who worked for the NAACP, and it turned out she wasn't black. Do you remember this thing?
Yes. Yep.
And people got so outraged because she was pretending to be black.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my coworker who was talking about it, I was like, is it any different than saying, can I cannot say maybe I feel like I'm black, just like you could say you feel like you're a man? How is that different? And she's like, that's completely different. And I was like, I don't know. Is it?
I agree.
If I want to go around just saying I feel like an 85-year-old Asian woman, you have to accept that?
Watch me sign up for the Mars thing and get stuck with one of those people.
And the whole time you're like, they're like, again, Jay, I'm a pregnant man. You're like, fuck.
I'll be like, hey man, nice to meet you. Do you want the top or bottom bunk? And they'll be like, how dare you assume my gender? I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a long 17 months.
You know what? I always thought about like the most. I was trying to think of the most annoying thing like a woke person could say, and I came up with the most annoying possible woke person.
Okay.
They're walking a dog, you're like, cute dog. Is it a boy or a girl? And the person responds, I'm waiting for the dog to let me know. That would be, I want to actually go around all day just telling people that, to see what the response would be.
What a world we live in.
And no one ever says to you, like, are you having a boy or a girl? No one like says like, hey, I understand it'll take you like 5 or 6 years for you to get back to me on that.
I'm gonna have a gender reveal party, and it's gonna be one of those balloons, and when it pops, it's just gonna be a regular balloon, and I'm gonna be like, there's nothing in it because I'm waiting for the baby to tell me its gender.
Hey, we're about to run out of show. Jay, I have a question for you. How do you feel about? I had a little rant with my wife today about. How do you feel about the fact that Obama? He had his birthday party over the weekend. He lives in a $12 million estate on Martha's Vineyard. How do you feel about that?
I mean, how could he not afford that? He made $200,000 a year as president. Oh wait,
I was like going on. I was like, I can't believe like, this is just bullshit. He like, how does he have $12 million? He never worked in a job that paid him all this money. And I was like, yeah, but they're all fucking rich. What do you expect? I'm like, yeah, but like, it's kind of like ridiculous. Like, he's supposed to care about people. And she's like, I'm fucking worried about figuring out like a babysitter for the fall and this whole COVID thing. Could you shut the fuck up about the damn Obama being in a mansion? Just get over it. So fine, I'll get over it.
it's part of the problem though.
Andrew actually just wrote a question in. What Brink related topic could become an Olympic sport? I'll start. A challenge to find your way out of Mark's 4-story mansion, or trying to get from the Olympic Village to the main stadium for as cheap as possible.
Trying to figure out how Jay's story about Legos led to pedophilia and Mark bringing it up. Connecting the dots.
How about a decathlon with the last event, instead of the high jump, is picking out your toe hairs.
Speed toe hair plucking?
Speed toe hair, like at the end of the event, you're like getting your socks off. You're like, I can't believe this is the last event.
How about trying to fall asleep? Because all of us have apnea. Yeah, everyone gets hooked up to an apnea machine, and whoever gets a good night's sleep first wins the gold.
Or everyone to see who takes the longest to fall asleep. Or I guess that is what you said.
Or Jay's joke with different words.
Yes, never mind. How about Jay demonstrating? They already have walking Olympics. Jay demonstrating how he can walk 2 miles in under 5 minutes.
I mean, they already have the speed walking event.
I
should just join that.
We're not. Yeah. What other events could we have?
We can have. I just drew a blank.
And
Yeah.
we could have the amount of time you could spend in a male locker room event. They're all naked and they're all old. I can't do this.
I wonder if they could have like some Fear Factor events.
That would be better than what they currently hold.
I mean, that would be better than current Olympic events to begin with. But then if we had some Brink ones where like people try to shake your hand, I'd be totally bugging out.
Yeah.
Using a public restroom. Go into the room of black mold, see how long you could last.
How long you can live in Jay's old apartment is the entire bit. It's the show Survivor, new season.
It's just my life. You go to my old job, you go to my old apartment. You just have to exist.
The Jay real life reality tour, which is like ends with people just screaming.
People run out screaming and blowing their brains out within 10 minutes.
They're like, yeah, this is actually worse than the Mars thing. You mean I have to just live in this apartment, and so I go to this job where they're not that nice to me, and I have to do a podcast with this other guy? What the fuck am I doing?
But we have to wait to do the podcast until you're half asleep.
And every 5 minutes, he's like, is it up yet? Texting, is it up yet? I was like, I'm fucking working on it. Leave me alone. The mold's killing me. What do you want?
Thank you, Andrew, for that question. And thank you, Dean, for all your other questions. Weird.
I think that is everything we have for this week. And Jay has a new cutoff, so the show is ending soon.
Yes, but I enjoyed our earlier start time. I actually had energy for the beginning of the show. It was nice.
Awesome. The last time you got the earlier start time, so sorry.
You should just ground your kids for no reason. It's the smallest infraction. They drop a fork. You're like, grounded. 8:30 bedtime.
Get in bed now.
At what age is that going to change, or are we just waiting for them to go to college?
I mean, college is not that far away, Jay.
True.
My son's 10, so like 8 more years.
We've already done Brink for 12, so.
You're over halfway there, Jay. You can make it.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back soon.
Yes. Delta be damned.
Brink fans love basketball off season.
You see Dennis Schroeder, $5 million with the Celtics.
Great call, turning down 21.
$80 million for 4 years, or it was 4 years.
4 years, 84.
Oh my God, that agent, I think the agent gets fired either way. If the agent said like we can get more, he's fired. And the agent, even if he's like, I don't want to take this, I think we can do better. And the agent's like, you should take this. The agent's still fired.
Yeah, he would have to fire, even if it was his idea and the agent was against it, he would have to fire the agent just to save face.
Exactly. It was like, you should have, I don't know why you listened to me, but you're in charge. You should have signed my name for me.
Whatever happened, he's going to take that to the grave. He's not telling anybody the real story.
Does he get a call afterwards from like Nerlens Noel and go like, welcome to the club?
I mean, at least Noel's making 10 in a year now.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know why you're calling me, Dennis. Like, I'm making more money now. I don't know what you're doing.
Unbelievable. Anyway, brinkofsanityshow.com is the website. Brink of Sanity is our Patreon. The Brink of Sanity gmail.com is our email. Brink of Sanity
Also,
3 is our
look
Twitter.
out for the Brink of Sanity prequel coming out soon.
Brink of Sanity prequel. Maybe we'll just do a reboot. Start from episode 1 again.
Maybe Amazon should pay $450 million to make the Brink TV show, and Jay be like, "I'm not doing this. They're not going off the source material."
Or I'll just hold out for a lot more money, and then they'll offer us $20.
Yeah. They countered instead of $4.50, they're going to give you $4.50. You said they would go up. You're fired, Mark.
If we do a reboot, who would we? I mean, if we had Bry, it would still be 2 out of the 3 originals. You would just take Joel's place.
It'd be weird if you just rebooted the podcast. You're just like, we've never done this before. Just started anew here. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Never
but,
reference the first 370 episodes.
Just pretend it did not happen. And we're pretending you're still living in, I guess, Brooklyn. Like, everything's like earlier. I wonder what it's going to be like to have kids or live in Long Island. If I end up in Long Island, I don't know.
I mean, I wonder if we just started a brand new feed, if it would get more downloads than the current feed.
Couldn't get less.
Could not get less. Every time I say that, it's less. But
I said we should do that with the Trump thing. You guys didn't listen to me. We should have just should have branded the show as the Trump podcast. It would have taken off.
I mean, whatever we're doing, we get less downloads each week. So
it would have been hilarious. People were like, "Why did you call it the Donald Trump podcast?" The show, you barely even talk about Donald Trump. Yeah, it's the Donald Trump podcast. Just by the way, I get now. He had like a blog for a little while, like one way, but I signed up for like the mailing list, and now I get emails from it, and the emails are framed like they're tweets. Like they have the same picture of a tweet, but it's not a tweet. They just designed it to look like a tweet because I think they've convinced Donald Trump he's back on Twitter or something.
and most of his followers don't like to read more than 240 characters at a time. Yeah,
but it's really in the format. Obviously, it's not on Twitter, but it's in the format like it's on Twitter. It's just a weird format.
That's hilarious.
It's like they're just like he's probably like, I want to look like Twitter. It's gonna be just like Twitter, but it's not on Twitter. Just fucking just make the boss happy.
That's funny.
Okay. Did you play the goodbye song yet?
Andrew said do a reboot and just read a transcript of each episode.
That'd be pretty great also.
He also wants to know how soon until your son starts joining the show.
I'd have to tell him about it first.
I mean, that would be a good way to do the shows earlier.
Yeah, it really would be, but I don't really know if I don't know if he'd really want to do. He would have no interest in doing the show, and I don't know if we wanted the 10-year-old sense of humor on the show. Not that we have a highbrow sense of humor, but I think it would be maybe a lost in translation kind of thing here.
I mean, that might be a way to get him to not bother you during the show. But
I don't know.
this is what I do. I talk to this boring guy named Jay, and it sucks. And he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go back upstairs and play Fortnite."
Jay once played video games with my son and talked to him. How was that experience?
It was actually pretty funny. He was talkative, and
He is very talkative. So
I mean, I've been doing that with my girlfriend's kids too. Like they all go and they're talking Thai, and I'm just like, "You guys want to play video games?" And I play games with them too. So like, I found a new group to play with. Nobody my age wants to play with me.
You know, my son's been away at sleepaway camp the entire summer. I've yet, outside of playing like the video game stream with you, I've yet to like at any point turn on the video games myself.
Shameful.
I just haven't had any like, I don't know. I just had this I don't know why. It's not.
You have
really
access to like
interested.
the golden age of games, and they're giving out games free every month, and you're subscribing to the free game service, and like you're not even
Anything
trying.
good? Anything good in August?
August was pretty weak, but I found this new free game called Smite, which is fun, so I've been playing that.
Okay, you got to tell me what to download. Even though like it's a complete waste, since my son will never play these games.
I mean, I just claim them all every month anyway, except this month one of the games was tennis. I didn't, but I usually just claim them, and if I don't play them, I don't play them, because you don't have to download them. You could just you click claim, and then you have access to them forever. So a couple months down the road, you feel like you want to try.
Yeah, no, I should do that. I just never. Yeah.
Okay, that is the end of the show. Mark's just trying to save money on the power to run the PS4.
By the way, an update. Just a quick update. We are now a month and almost a week into my new car, and up to now I think I've calculated that I should have used I have up to 900 miles, and I think I've used about 550. So I'm staying under mileage for the new car.
This is awesome. I want an update every week on your.
Every week I can update you on where I am with my insanity with the car to make sure I stay under 10,000 miles for the year and we don't get any overages because somehow this is driving me insane.
This is awesome.
Every day I wake up I'm like, today's a good day. I got 25 more miles.
This is awesome. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, 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 everybody.
All right. That was a fun one,
Yeah, that was fun.
considering we had nothing planned.
Sometimes having nothing planned works out well.
Yeah.